Welcome to a Skyrim Addict podcast where I will discuss my adventures and misadventures through Skyrim. Join me. Add your stories, add your tales. Let's get into this thing. Hello, welcome back to Skyrim Addict podcast. I think I don't know what episode it is. I guess every week and I get it wrong. 80 something. Sorry about that. I was checking my audio real quick. So, as I mentioned last week, I was going to start Oblivion and Morrowind. Haven't set up my 360 yet, so I didn't hop into those. But hopped back into Skyrim and with my Conjuration character, formerly of the Necromancer Roundtable. So I decided to go through jump right on into the Dark Brotherhood. I had already started it, already met up with Astrid in she had already, after I did the thing for the kid in Windhelm, she took me to the abandoned cottage. I killed all the people. And so I went back and met her I think I just had to meet up with her. I may have already met up with her. I don't know. I wasn't very far along in the Dark Brotherhood. So I went there, talked to her, did those first couple of quests for Nazir. Now this is way different than I was doing it previously because almost every time I've done the Dark Brotherhood, I've been a very sneaky either archer or double daggers or even a sneaky illusionist. Running solo, no followers, nothing. And this time, it's me, it's Lydia, it's some dog from Worm's Tooth who's coming along now. At all times, it's the three of us. The dog is really loud. Lydia's in some massive Nordic armor with a Daedric helmet. We're not rolling quietly. She's rolling with double staffs, fireballs, all kinds of stuff. Frost Atronax, just making a mess everywhere she goes. So we don't roll quietly these days. And then when sometimes I have my skeleton warriors with me, so I may have a couple of them, and then I have, I think I can conjure 4 things at once now, so sometimes I have like 4 Dremora Lords rolling around, that gets messy, so it's quite different for me. Oh, and I just added Shadowmere, so now I got Shadowmere too. It's like, it's cumbersome at times. So anyway, it's been a little different for me. So I did the first 3 contracts, and my illusion isn't really upgraded that much yet. And I'm running with Ordinator, so I have the different options with that, obviously. But I haven't gone up the illusion tree at all. So that's been a little weak for me. I would like to be a little cleaner on these, but it's just not working. The enemies sometimes are too high for my Fury spell or things like that, where they can start the fight and not know it. So I did the first 3 quests for Nazir, where you have to, prove your worth or whatever. Had a little issue with the one in Dawnstar, because when I got there was 3 hired thugs looking for me. So I had to take care of them, and it was getting messy with the person I was trying to take care of. So that one was that was where I ran into the most issues. It was a little weird. I had to kill somebody for that one lady, where you kill her cheating boyfriend and the person who disowned her. I forget who it was. But you go to Windhelm, I believe it is, and you go up in their house and you kill them upstairs with the Lotus Extract poison. So I went there and did that, but it's so weird sneaking through somebody's house with a giant dog and somebody in massive armor. And the dog is really loud, but nobody hears you. So it's a little weird. It's a little immersion breaking for me because I'm not used to playing it that way. So I found that a little funny. Half Moon Mill wasn't bad. I just killed both of them. The whole crew was there. We got there during the day, and I tried to Fury one of them, and then it annoyed them. So there was just this big battle ensued, and they died rather quickly. I think there was a guy by a mill up the road, maybe from Anga's. I think he was up the road from. That worked out great because a dragon came along right as I got there. So I just let him get killed by the dragon. It was pretty easy. I let the dragon come down, killed him, killed the dragon, boom, we're all good. So I solved Nazir's issues. I think there was 3 in the beginning time, and 2 the next time. Had to do something for Astrid in the meantime. I forget exactly what that was. I've done this so many times, you think I'd remember by now. So it's just up to the part where, was it Gallus Morrow? Where you have to find out where he's going. You get the quest from Armand Motier about killing the Emperor. So I went to Vollenrude, got that. Found out about what he wanted. Not getting to the Cicero thing yet because I'm kind of in the middle of that. So I went and met him, got his information, went back to Astrid. She's like, oh, gosh, I don't know. I'm in a tizzy now. I don't know what to do. So that's when you go do, I think you do a quest for Gabriella. So I went and did that, came back, and she's like, oh, yep, go meet that guy, see what's going down. He gives you an amulet. You show it to Devin Mallory, and that's your payment, or opens up a line of credit, basically. But it's so I had to, that Gallus Morrow guy, he's a guard, Pentus Oculatum or whatever it is. You have to find him and plant the letter on him, the incriminating letter. So you head to Dragon Bridge, see what he's up to. It's so easy to steal that stupid letter out of that building. I walk in the building, I'm not even supposed to be there, with my crew. There's a guard sitting in a chair right next to the letter. I walk behind him, go into sneak, and take the letter. like, all right. Yep. So the letter basically just tells you what cities the guy's going to on what days. You can just follow his quest marker if you really want, but it's hard to catch him that way. You can kind of get ahead of him the other way. So I met him out in Markarth. He was in Understone Keep. I tried to Fury him. It didn't work. He was too high level. That's where I ran into that issue with that. So I just hit him. I was hidden up on a ledge somewhere, and I hit him with some ice spikes. I got a little bounty on me, a 40 gold bounty, but I just went and paid the guards off real quick. And then my crew went and killed him, and then I planted the incriminating letter on him, and then headed back to Dark Brotherhood. Meantime, there's this whole Cicero thing going on, as you know if you've played it a million times. So I get there, you meet Cicero, obviously, in the beginning. He's got the crate, and he's a little out there. Astrid wants you to keep an eye on him. You end up sneaking in the room while he's talking to the Night Mother. You sneak in the coffin, which is one of the creepier scenes in the game, when you're in the coffin and the Night Mother is talking to you while he's talking to her, and he doesn't hear her apparently, but you do, and that's a creepy scene. I will say that. That was one of the creepier ones in the game for sure. So I went through that whole part, and now I am up to the part where I've gotten back, and Cicero has taken off to Dawnstar Sanctuary after slashing the Argonian, and Astrid's husband is up there, and you find him just outside the sanctuary, and Cicero's inside bleeding. So you got to follow Cicero inside, and there's the ghosts in there that you have to battle your way through. I'm only part way through that right now. So I'll probably have that finished up for next time, because I believe I have some kind of Dark Brotherhood expansion mod that I wanted to play around with, which is why I went into the Dark Brotherhood to do that kind of stuff, because it's fun. I like Dark Brotherhood Quest. I like the Oblivion one a little more, but I do still like the Skyrim one. It's interesting. So I definitely want to play around with the whatever, see what this mod does, the expansion of it does. I don't have the name of it offhand. I'll have to have that for next time. Although, what is this? Update. Oh. Let me close that. Sorry about that. I could actually look it up. But anyway, so that's my plan for that. I'm hoping to get my Oblivion and Morrowind set up this week. Just need some time to rearrange. My whole gaming area is a freaking disaster right now, with like cables everywhere, twisted and mangled and tied together in knots, and I'm sure it's just as bad as a lot of other people's, and way worse than most. So it's just it's a massive conglomeration of stuff everywhere, for recording and all that kind of crap. But So I really want to get that together this week so I can get that done. Let me pull open my Skyrim and pull open the workshop here. Browse the workshop and my files. Subscribed items. Oh, Dark Brotherhood Resurrection Part 1. So I'm looking to get into that. So, oh, you know what I also have? I have Sea of Ghosts, which I haven't gotten into. And that's an older mod also, from 2012 or so, I guess. It's, I guess it's another quest mod. So these are kind of the things I'm doing before I close out this character. Is kind of going through the workshop and going through all those kind of quest mods and stuff. And I did Diverse Dragons, which is fun. I just encountered a Marine Dragon, which does a storm call shout. So I'm standing on the beach right outside the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary getting blasted with freaking lightning from everywhere. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So that was fun. That was a good battle. I enjoyed that quite a bit. So other than that, I don't really have any crazy mods going on in mine. Let's see. I can do a quick rundown. I know most people use Nexus. I'm using the workshop because I'm a simpleton. So let's see. I have the Pure Waters, which I know is very, very popular. Quality World map, which gives you a better map. Enhanced Towns and Villages for all the areas. Enhanced Inns. Let's see. Detailed Outskirts, which makes all that area look better. Unofficial patches, HD Plants and Herbs, which is nice. Milky Way Galaxy texture, which is really nice at nighttime, I gotta say. Gives you this real good feel. It's just real natural looking. Some patches, random alt start, ordinator, Burnzai quest markers. Not really running too crazy, as you can hear. Richer merchants, which doubles the amount of money the people have, which I needed early on. Now I'm not even really selling stuff. I don't need stuff, and I have so many goddamn gems from the Burnzai quest. Let's see, Static Mesh Improvement mod, Project Reality, Climates of Tamriel. It's the light version. I assume the other version's on the Nexus. Adds weather systems and cloud visuals, different lightning, things like that. Dragon Priest markers, Worm's Tooth, Diverse Dragons, Dark Brotherhood Resurrection, the McMillan Chronicles, which I talked about previously, and Sea of Ghosts, which I haven't played through yet. So that's just the things I am running right now. Actually, there'll be another segment at the end of this. Victor and Colin recorded something over the weekend. I know they went pretty mod heavy, so hang in there and listen to that. That'll be up after I'm done this part of the episode here. So then somebody had mentioned, where were we talking about this? Oh, I was talking to Jeremy on Game Talk. So for general gaming, we have a general gaming podcast now, ASA Game Talk. If you go to the website, it is right there, asapodcasting.com. Jeremy is running that. I was on there last week for a quick little episode before I had to go get a shower. And he mentioned something about HD Skyrim if it came out for Xbox One, would I play it? And then I was like, yeah, but probably not because, play it on PC. But it would be great to see come out. And just, it would be a great addition to the Xbox One console, honestly. I know, it wouldn't have all the modding capabilities and things like that to PC, but it would be nice to see it look so much better for everyone else who plays on consoles. I'm not like some PC snob or something. I would love to see it look even better for everyone on the consoles and stuff. And obviously, it would probably cut down on load screens also. I don't know when we'll see that. I would think we would see the backwards compatibility maybe the year before they announce 6. That would be a guess anyway. Just to, give a little boost to it as they go into the announcement of 6. Or right when they announce 6, Elder Scrolls 6. That would be my guess. That's just random guess on my part. But let me get to... I have some feedback here from Dave, and then I have Colin and Victor at the end. I haven't actually listened to it yet, so I'll have to check it out. God knows what Colin said. I better check it out. So last we left off with Dave, he was in the Mac Beta's back in Skyrim. He's back in Skyrim, obviously playing Skyrim full time, and really he's enjoying the development of his character, and hoping he doesn't make any mistakes on this one. So he's also running a female Bosmer thief assassin with a twist of necromancer mage using Percus Maximus for the first time. And he feels the leveling's a little quick and not sure if he likes it as much as Requiem, but he will persevere with both mods. So here is the next little update from McBeta. A slight detour before journey. Extract from the journals of McBeta Blackstone. I just completed packing my backpack and was picking up my bow when Yendigo returned from the Khajiit caravan camp beside the Riften stables. McBeta, my friend, the young stable lad, has been attacked and robbed by bandits on his way back from Maven Blackbriar's lodge. He has been badly injured. The boy was harmless. Whoops. I'm sorry, he said as he walked through the door. That was Yendigo who was saying that. Yendigo. God, I keep screwing that up. The boy was harmless and was only interested in looking after horses. He had been badly cheated by Sapphire in the Thieves Guild and was desperately trying to pay back the debt he thought he was due her. I knew he had been set up, and I was trying to negotiate with Sapphire to resolve the issue. I was even tempted to pay the debt myself, but wanted to see if I could persuade her into releasing the debt. This forced my hand, and I went straight into the Bee and Barb and asked her outright if she was responsible for the attack on the boy. She denied it, but I told her if I found out she was responsible because he hadn't cleared his debt, then I would take steps to make sure she wouldn't bloody do it to another harmless lad. She got the message and said, all right, take it easy. No idea why you'd care about a stranger so much, but this isn't worth a fight. Tell Shardir I'm forgetting about his debt. I stormed out of the inn. My friend, you are definitely scary when you are really angry. Yendigo laughed as we left Riften through the North Pale. Well, let's go and scare a few bandits, I snarled. This attack had really gotten under my skin. The poor little bugger had a hard enough time working in the stables, even though he seemed to enjoy the life. I think it was the bandits at the old mine near the waterfall beside the bridge on the Morrowind Road. We saw them when we came back after that bloody Bosmer mistook us for the Dunmer warrior he was after. I do remember that horse haunch we got from his steed. That way you cooked it was delicious, Yendigo said. You know the old mine is near where we had to sort out those two stupid bandits who attacked us when we were hunting down that way last week, he continued. Droga gave them a real fight when he jumped up behind them, and the fat one fell and broke his leg, falling off the steps, getting out of the way. He laughed at the memory. We picked up Drogo and quickly made our way down the road towards the junction just over the bridge and headed up the hill to the old mine entrance. We had found there was still blood on the road at the bridge where Shadir had been wounded and left for dead. This just pissed me off even more. Into full stealth and up the hill towards the mine entrance. The two bandits outside the entrance died of arrow holes, one from each of us, as the arrows were poisoned. No prisoners, I had told Yendigo. We quietly sneaked through the mine entrance and down the passageway. I noted the interesting mushrooms for later picking as we made our way down. Then Bloody Drogo takes off and straight up at the bandit chief, who was apparently sleeping up on the ledge above us. So much for his stealthy approach. Bloody stupid cat. Another two bandits had started to clamber up from their bedrolls in time to be met with a couple of arrows, and they went back to sleep permanently. The bandit chief was giving Drogo a hard time. He looked like a seasoned fighter. He was in steel armor and had a bloody big sword. Bloody stupid cat was definitely struggling. I just ran up behind the bandit, fired my fire sparks, and just stood there cooking him in his now glowing steel armor. He was almost done when Yendigo put him out of his misery by putting an arrow through his eye. We looted the place methodically because this was our last workout before leaving Riften. On the way out, I noticed a pull chain, partly hidden near the 2 dead bodies lying under bedrolls. Pulling it revealed a hidden room with the body of a Nord and other pieces of bodies lying about. The corpses turned out to be Leifnar, the missing husband of Grosta. She thought he had run off with another woman. Grosta ran the lumber mill near the end of the lake, near the end of Lake Unrik, where the Treva River runs in. Her son helps where he can. I wasn't looking forward to telling them. I can tell you, when we eventually headed out that way on our way to Helgen, Shadir was recovering from his ordeal when we went to see him before we left. I gave Holgrir, Horse Crusher, some gold and a load of fur and steel armor for Shadir to wear or sell off. That meant make up for some of the misfortunes, I told Holgir. Right, Indigo. Time we're off, I said as we headed around the city walls to get to the Helgen Road near Westgate. I took the lead with Drogo walking alongside me and Yendigo just behind. We headed along the road which followed the shore of the lake and past Snowshod Farm. The guards were out in force there for some reason, but didn't bother us as we walked by. They were probably just after a free meal from the farmer. We eventually stopped and camped near the bridge leading to the Golden Glow estate. Yendigo set up the tent and I foraged for firewood and kindling and started a campfire. We had a hot meal, a couple of drinks, and then settled down for the night in front of the warm fire. I took the first watch, leaning comfortably against the convenient tree. I wasn't really sleeping, and with Drogo lying beside me drooling over a bone, I probably wouldn't get sleep anyway. He had extracted it from the venison haunch he had just eaten and was chewing and licking away at the mad thing. No point in getting a dog now, I thought. So that's some of the latest there from... Let me move that. From that, let's see. Oh, okay. He's had some issues with, as we go on here, he's had some issues with Requiem and Frostfall or Hunterborn. Requiem is really very picky about load order, and I need to investigate further. Okay, so there's a quick one from the Rift. Continue on from where they were. We continued to head west along the Helgen Road, meeting the occasional wolf pack. Yendigo would just call out, "Oh, look, puppies," as he cut them down with his bow. That Khajiit is bloody lethal with that ebony bow of his, I tell myself. Bloody big puppies, mind you. Anyway, lots of pelts and alchemy ingredients for me. Some meat for us all. Wolf haunch makes a nice meal cooked with meat and carrots. It smokes down well, too. Drogo has his meat raw, but I noticed he will occasionally eat any cooked meat left lying around unguarded. Gods, he has a good appetite. It must be all that running and chasing elk. Never seems to get any, mind you. I just think he likes to play with them. I broke north from the road along the track to Heartwood Mill to tell Grasta about her dead husband. She was pretty upset because she thought the poor sod had run off with an elf whore. No offense meant. None taken, I'm sure. She had been pretty angry and hadn't minced words, but now she was beating herself up over it. I commiserated with her quietly, then left her alone to break the news to her son, and just headed west along the other track to meet my 2 cats on the Helgen Road again. Drogo had managed to down an elk, and Yendigo was skinning it using his claws as I reached them. In all our time together, I had never seen him skin a kill. He always left it to me. "Ah, sorry, my friend Macbeta, but we need some new water skins," he said. I looked at him quizzically, and he looked somewhat pissed off. Drogo managed to burst all of them when he jumped me from up a tree. I'm trying to teach him how to do stealth tactics like a proper saber cat. He gets a bit enthusiastic, yes? I sighed and helped to make 4 water skins from the material at hand. Drogo just chewed his way through the haunch of the venison and watched us. "Next time I think I'll go for black furry water skin," I said to Yendigo, looking at Drogo as I spoke. He just kept chewing. "I'm seriously looking at a war dog, you know. I hear they have them for sale on Markarth. They might even do a trade-in for old useless bodyguards, I said aloud. Drogo just yawned and lay down with his head on his paws to snuffle and sleep off his meal. Yendigo and I made a camp and settled down for the nice venison roast, washed down with fresh green tea because the bloody saber cat had burst the wine sack and broke the last bottle of ale. Gods, I sometimes want to scream. Not out here in the wilds at night, of course. That would just be stupid. And I'm not really stupid, I think. I took the first watch again, enjoying listening to the sounds of the area settling down and the nighttime barks of the foxes start up. The occasional wolf howl or bear growling in the distance reassured me somewhat. The fire helped keep them at bay, and all I really had to worry about were the human predators that would be attracted to the fire. Good luck getting past my fire rune traps, I thought to myself as I sipped my tea. We need a Kermit sipping tea meme for Skyrim right now. That would be amazing. So he did send me a little video of his character, and it is amazing. Really good looking. The game looks really incredible. But I can only imagine how long it takes to traverse the world the way he's doing it. It's not super fast, and he's running with the whole, the crew he has there, Drogo and Yendigo. And, the camping and everything, that's got to make for some great immersion. But you really have to be dedicated to doing it that way. I'd admit, I would love to try that at one point after this character. Do a more realistic playthrough like that, but I can't do it immediately because I'm loving just running with an army of weirdos. I like the Dremora. I can conjure dragon priests too, so sometimes I like doing that, but for some reason I can't conjure them far away, so I stick with the Dremora because if I need to conjure something a pretty good distance, I stick with them. So another quick update here from McBeta. Everything's back up and running, or from Dave, I'm sorry, but with a little journal from McBeta. Everything back up and running smoothly. One updated mod made the bloody game moody for a couple days, but now it's running smoothly. I confess to adding new mods as I progress with the play. I had things as idea for the story blossom, and sometimes need tangibles to work. So nothing immersion or story breaking, I hope, just adds to the color. This is a slightly somber part of the journey. Here we go. So another extract, disturbing journey. Bloody wolves never do what's expected of them. Fire is meant to keep them away, damn it. Just as dawn broke, we were attacked by a pack of wolves. 2 puppies managed to kill themselves on my fire rune traps. Drogo was already tackling one adult wolf as I fired up Boney and grabbed my goblin staff of fire sparks. Yendigo was also standing, bow at the ready, after having shot and killed another puppy. We ended up with 2 adult wolves and 5 puppies. Probably a small family pack. They all looked pretty thin, so I reckoned that desperation had made them attack despite the fire and the bloody big saber cat laying next to it. We broke camp early and breakfast on some bread and cheese on our way along the road. We paused just once to fill our new water skins where the river swept in close to the road. I spotted smoke from a small camp on the hill to the south where the path led up to it. The camp was not far and was close to what looked like a path to an ancient Nordic ruin. Drogo did his usual thing, running up ahead to terrify any chickens or goats hanging about. We really needed to stop him, but he never runs up when humans are there, so maybe he isn't that daft after all. The camp appeared deserted, but the cooking pot was warm over the still-burning fires. And there were several bedrolls set up under crude covers. There was an entrance to a small cave-like opening up the hill. Sounds of digging echoing came out from there. A journal belonging to someone named Madresi Dran lay on the table beside a copy of Dance and Fire. The journal seemed to be about some great treasure with Angarvund. Angarvund. Oh, those names, oh man, those dwarven names. Or, no, that's a Nordic name. I assumed that was where we were. I marked it on my map. Just then a miner appeared with his pickaxe in his belt, drinking from a bottle, and asked if we were there to help. We could use it to get the job done quicker. Boss lady has a tongue that would strip the fur off a troll, we laughed. Indigo and I looked at each other, and we declined, telling him we just wanted a heat from the fire before moving back to the road towards Helgen. We don't mind. It's too much like hard work, really. The boss lady sounded like hard work, too. We don't mind, not mind. For the next 2 days, as we traveled along the road, we kept coming across signs of the Civil War in the area. We would come across corpses of Stormcloaks or Legion soldiers, often just lying near the roadside. It all must have been fairly recent fighting. The bodies gave no indication of animal activity, despite the copious bloodstains and shortage of wild game. I suppose the odd limb was missing out of the bodies, but the bodies were generally intact, apart from the holes in them or gashes on them. Nobody was getting buried, which was a bit worrying. That usually means the fighting is ongoing and nobody's taking chances. The smell was also getting pretty strong at times. We moved along cautiously and carefully, generally keeping on or close to the road. We never caught sight of any live soldiers. As we walked along, I thought about the wolf pack we had killed a couple of days earlier, and also on the 1 or 2 lone wolves who had crossed our path after that. They had all looked pretty emaciated and half-starved. I reckoned that the soldiers on both sides were living off the land and killing the local wildlife like elk and deer. Predators like the wolf were being forced to look elsewhere for their food supply and seemingly not finding it easy. We continued like this for another day and a half. By this time, I was looking for a suitable campsite when we reached the signpost for the village of Iverstead. This pointed us slightly off the Helgen Road, but we could see smoke from the chimneys just a few hundred paces away. I felt it might be sensible to go there and wait a couple of days and let things maybe settle down in this area. We could also try and get some fresh bread, cheese, and other supplies, and possibly even some ale or mead. Oh yes, a mug of ale would be especially good, I thought. Sweet rolls would be good too, said Indigo, cheerfully. He could read my mind, that damn Khajiit. Him and his bloody sweet tooth and his love of sweet rolls. They'll rot your teeth. You know you shouldn't eat them, I said sternly. I had been trying to wean him off the bloody things for years. But they taste so good, my friend. I'm willing to risk it. You know this, yes? He was smiling. Anyway, everybody eats them, yes? Even you, Big Beta. He added, grinning to me. I just sighed. And there was that name again. Somebody had always called me that, usually with affection in their voice. I remembered that part. I just didn't remember who. I hoped there might be work for us here to keep us occupied. That would keep his mind off the sweet rolls. But I was not really convinced it would work. It had never in the past, at least. Indigo and his sweet rolls were hard to separate. Iverstead had a hostelry called the Vilmer Inn, welcoming and warm. So we decided to stay for a couple days. The inn had a lot of sweet rolls. Damn it, we could be stuck here for days. So that's I believe that's might be the latest update for McBeta. Oh, I do have one more. You know, I'll save that one for this weekend because that's coming up soon. And I have to help Connor with homework. So there is a next one coming up. The continuation there from the Vilmer Inn. Anyway, so stay tuned for Colin and Victor, and thanks to Dave again, as always, with his, the great stories of McBeta and Makachia, who's now we're on back to full time on McBeta, but I have a feeling, I don't know, something may happen. But if you enjoyed the show, you want to contribute in any way, Skyrim Addict Podcast, gmail.com. What else? Yeah, I guess that's it. You know, like the show on, what's that called? iTunes or whatever. Rate it if you have a chance. If not, tell some people if you know people like Skyrim or Elder Scrolls in general, tell them about it. And, make sure you check out all the Elder Scrolls podcasts on and around the world here. Obviously Off the Record, the biggest one. I think there's another one, Character Crusade. I apologize, I don't get a chance to listen to too many shows these days, but I believe that's another Skyrim one that I see out there, so check them out too. I think they're more of a role-playing. I'm not positive, but it's good for the community, good for those of us who enjoy Elder Scrolls in the game and stuff. So, all right, stay tuned for the gentleman. I use that term extremely loosely for Colin, and I will talk to you all next time.
Hello, this is the Skyrim Addict podcast, I suppose, with myself and my good friend Victor. Say hello.
Hello, or should I say hello? Or what's the old joke? Say hello, Victor. Hello, Victor. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
This is episode 87, maybe, of the Skyrim Addict podcast. Possibly.
I don't
Who
know.
knows? Only Michael knows, and the person listening to the podcast. They can correct me all they like. So, I suppose we should jump straight into some news. It's kind of a long story of what I wanted to get into about what's happened with my Skyrim playthrough. It's kind of strange. I was playing along and enjoying myself, and I think I had it must have been about 30 open quests, because I was just plodding along all over Skyrim, going from here, there, everywhere. And I had just brought Esbern back to Delphine, and those two were going to trot off to meet me at Karthspire. And I said, well, I'll meet you there. I won't travel with you. I've got a few things I need to take care of. And then I was running back to Riften to do something. I think it was I found I got a letter from a friend saying that there's a word of power in Agravund, something like that.
Oh, right, because when you shout in a town, you get a letter saying, I heard you shout, or something like that. Is that how it works? I can't remember anymore.
Yeah, it was you show the power of your Thuum. If you go to this place, it'll unlock.
Right, okay.
Only the power that only the Dragonborn can unlock, or something like that. So
right.
I was strolling into Agravund. That's where the Dark Elf lady, the treasure hunter, she had a bunch of workers with her, and they cracked through into the crypt. Was it a Nordic crypt? And she said they took one look at all the corpses and ran. and your line was what? They can't stand dead bodies. She goes, well, not like these. These ones were still walking around.
I don't remember that. I haven't done that in quite a while, I guess.
It's quite an enjoyable one, because she's soon this treasure will all be mine. I mean, ours.
That's okay. I know the one you're talking about. Yep. Okay. Yep.
And you've got she gives you some keys, and you've got a room to the left, and you've got to go all the way through, come back out, pull a lever, and that opens up one gate, and then you go into the other side, and you go all the way through the ruin, come back out, pull a lever, and that opens another gate, and then she can run in, and you can get to the treasure.
Right, okay.
So anyway, I'm out Riften Way, and I think I was also going to go down and talk to. I was going to run through the giant and kill the giant with the guy from the Orc camp.
Right, yeah, I just started that in one of my playthroughs, but yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, Chief Yamars.
Right.
And then I just completely lost interest.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was just like, well, Perma is all completely different, but it's for some reason I just got bored of it. So I had 2 days off. So I was searching for something to do, and I remember you telling me, I think it was one of your kids really likes the BioShock games, and I had bought them all recently.
Yeah, I saw you play, just briefly I saw you playing Infinite there, yeah.
So I put Infinite on, because I had started BioShock, the original one, and I got about 3/4 of the way through that, I think, and then stopped playing it. But I put BioShock Infinite on, and then done the entire game over the course of the 2 days.
Oh, jeez.
And really enjoyed it. I super enjoyed it.
Good.
It wasn't the greatest story ever told. It was pretty obvious what was happening. I think
Yeah.
you played it, have you?
Only a little bit. I sort of, yeah, it's really creepy, and
I find it like very Disney-like.
a little bit, yeah. But there's a really, I got a real uncanny valley vibe when you finally get up into the Cloud City there in the beginning of the game, and it's just really creepy. I don't know. They just like so no, I didn't get very far in it.
Um, I played. I had a lot of fun. And got through and got to the end of the story, and as I said, they kind of telegraphed it a bit, but I don't think that's the right expression.
Yeah, I
Or
think that's about right. I remember Sean saying that he likes the games, but yeah, the stories aren't exactly Pulitzer Prize winning. Yeah.
So I played that, and I thought, well, let's do the other. So at that point, I listened to Victor, and that was a good game. I enjoyed that. So let's find something else that'll sort of get me interested. So then I decided to ignore everything you said, and I bought Dark Souls 2.
Oh, ooh.
And yeah, no, I don't want to say too much because there's probably some big fans of Dark Souls 2 out there. But they had no consideration whatsoever for the PC players.
Exactly.
At all.
Exactly. That's
None.
what I said about it. It's a complete crap in terms of a PC port.
Oh,
I think I called it the worst PC port ever, but that's in my experience anyway.
In mine too. That was the epitome of round hole square peg. They just jam that in there and just go, here, give us money for this.
Yeah.
They didn't care about the PC player at all.
Yeah.
And then, not to mention the game itself, it's an endless grind. And I was like, wait, I'm expected to go here, kill a lot of things, but then die and then go all the way back and then repeat exactly what I've done again and again and again, and just on an endless repeat of killing things. I mean, maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I'm just so bad.
I don't think so. I mean, the Souls games are notoriously hard and in a certain way, and one of the things that they are that they're all about is memorizing sequences, and yeah, that's the game style. I mean, some people love that. You go in, you just got to memorize exactly what movements that boss or monster or whatever is going to make, and you got to know exactly where to go and which way to roll and which way to dodge and so on. And I think a lot of people like that. It's never really grabbed me. I will say this from what I've heard. I've never played it, but from what I've heard people say in terms of the three. Well, there's soon to be a fourth one, but Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, and now there's 3 coming out. Most people say the first one was the best one, Dark Souls.
Right. I think I have it on Xbox. I think I got it free once.
Yeah. It's been around for a long time. It might be 2008 maybe when it came out. It's fairly long in the tooth at this point. Actually, Demon Souls may have been the first one. I don't remember. Anyway, it's not my kind of game either, and so I've tried it, and I had high hopes when I bought it for the PC. I'm still considering buying there's a sort of a remaster version of it, the Dark Souls 2 that came out. It's called Reaper of Souls, I think, or something, for the PS4. And maybe if that's on sale sometime, I'll grab it and try it with a real controller, which is really the way it's supposed to be played, I guess. And maybe I'll like it better. I don't know. It's the same thing with like Witcher 3. I was saying in one of the game talk, I think I've found it easier to play Witcher 3 on my console than I did on the PC. Part that might be my age, might be just there's so much to remember on the PC, and it's a little easier because you have fewer buttons on the controller than keys on a keyboard. Yeah. So but yeah. So have you been? You were playing Skyrim today. So what happened after Dark Souls? Did you go back to Skyrim?
Yeah, did you did Dark Souls? I mean, it's probably been a while since you played it. Did it?
Yeah, a long time.
Because it reminded me of something that I was doing that was really difficult, but might be like along similar lines, but might be a little bit more fun. So I went back to my Requiem game.
Ah, okay. Yep.
Uh, and I found a lot of similarities between Requiem and Dark Souls, apart from Requiem was fun. It
Yeah.
was fun now. Not when I first played it. I was kind of taken aback. But I've been thoroughly enjoying playing Requiem for the past few days now.
Cool.
I'm up to, I think it's level 7 now. I'm almost level 8.
It's a much slower progression, isn't it?
It's down real slow.
Yeah.
And what was taking me aback completely was that it's a complete world change. Everything in the entire world has been changed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like moved everything about, like where enemies spawn, what enemies are where. He's put brand new named enemies in different bandit camps. He's changed the bandit camps and increased the enemy number and how they operate, how to defend, the barracks where they stand. Everything's been completely altered.
Yeah, and a lot of the AI too. I mean, they're much more aggressive. They follow you farther. They all kinds of stuff like that. And yeah, you know, it's funny that little progression you made because a lot of people say that about Requiem. It's you know, Dark Souls meets Skyrim, and it kind of is. It's funny though because I we'll get back to Requiem in a second, but I followed sort of a completely opposite trajectory. I was playing Requiem the last time we talked, and I've moved on to a perma game. so anyway, yeah, so we'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, so anyway, I have some observations about further play in Requiem too since the last time we talked because I did play. My Requiem character is up to level 12 now. So what kind of character did you create for Requiem?
It was still the same character
Oh,
because
cool.
I made the build and then made the character and then put in all the Requiem mods and then didn't like that, so then used the same character, used the same sort of build, and then created the perma character, the profile.
Oh,
so
okay.
he's kind of the same character, Breton, but he doesn't use two-handed because it's just too slow, and I wouldn't be able to get anywhere near of a good attack in before I'm already dead.
Yeah, yeah.
I am still using heavy armor and a lot of conjuration.
Okay.
And I've put.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask about because I too am wearing heavy armor in my Requiem character, despite all the screw jobs he has in there for people wearing heavy armor. I mean, I think he tries really hard to be balanced. In other words, heavy armor gives you a heck of a lot more protection, but he takes a lot away in terms of stamina. And I was going to ask about the magic. It's harder to cast spells in heavy armor, correct?
Yeah, I just he has an option for that in the MCM to turn it off.
Okay.
So, and there's a perk as well. You can, once you get to, I think it's like level 50, I believe, or level 25 in heavy armor.
50.
I think it's level. Yeah, it could be level 25. Actually, I'm in my game now. I can actually check.
Yeah, I turned off a couple of those things too, like I think we mentioned this the last time that I turned off I forget what he calls it, but where you can get disarmed or bows break and stuff like that. That just gets not just tedious, but just infuriating way too quickly.
Yeah, actually, it's 25. You're able to keep concentrated enough in heavy armor to cast fundamental and advanced spells without severe penalties.
Okay.
So it's level 25, and I'm only level 20 so far. But I turned that off as well. I didn't find it well, I didn't want to play without being able to cast in heavy armor. So
Right. I'm just gonna shift over to my Requiem character. I haven't played the Requiem character for a while, but let's see. Okay, but he's so one of the things I discovered in the last couple of weeks since we talked about Requiem last, I was just like banging my head against the brick wall, and it was getting very bloody, and so and I had tried I wanted to join the companions because I added in a really nice companion quest, sort of what do you want, enhancement. It's like the thieves guild enhancement, where you have to be a certain level and you have to have done certain things in order to join the companions, and this quest allows you to train with companions, but it will only allow you to train with the what do they call the new recruits? I forget, but whatever. You can only train with the lower end companions at first. You can't train with the circle when you just joined, and you have to be basically a peon. So I took the first two quests that they give you, to go out and take care of things. The first one was beating somebody up, and I went and did that. And I had some brawl bug issues that we talked about. But then I took another one, which was it was at where the Lunar Forge is, I think. No. What's that? I can't remember the name of there's, as you're traveling across the tundra, going sort of past Halted Stream, and then you pass that old ruin where the Lunar Forge is, and then farther on down the line there's Ranvigs something or other, Cairn or somewhere up in there. Anyway, it's full of magic wielders, and I just got wrecked, and I'm thinking, I can't even start the companions quest. This is awful. I couldn't do it. It was just virtually impossible. And have you tried followers yet?
Well, in Requiem, Requiem, yes, I've got Lydia, because I opened up the dragons. I went through Bleak Falls, and that was that was an experience.
I'll bet. Yeah, that's what level were you when you went through the Bleak Falls? Because he pretty much makes that pretty difficult.
I was just below level 4, and when I came out, I was just below level 7.
Yeah. Good Lord! What game difficulty are you on?
Expert, I think.
Expert. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I took your advice. When I came out and stuff, I wandered around a little bit. I went into Embershire Mine first, which was quite weird because I got dwarven armor off the lead guy.
Yeah, isn't that cool? That part is really neat. Yeah,
ran him into the trap as well.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled him up and sort of ran him into the trap, and then went through Bleak Falls. But he done something with because obviously I thought I was going to have an absolute nightmare with the dragon. I think he doesn't like the Dragon Quest, the main quest, at all. He's very those little messages that come up every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
He's very flippant about the shouts. It's something came up when I was learning Unrelenting Force. The inside Bleak Falls is I've learned yet another word, or something phrase similar to that. And when the dragon attacked the watchtower, it was he had the name, didn't have a name on it, like the Villain Earth or whatever it was supposed to. It was called a wounded dragon.
Really?
And he went down in about 2 minutes.
Huh.
It was the easiest dragon fight I've ever had.
Yeah, that's I don't know if there's anywhere. There must be somewhere on the web where somebody has written out, whether it's Ogre Boss or someone has sort of outlined exactly how he balanced rebalanced the game, because it's very clear that he spent, it's, yeah, like you said, it's deep. I mean, he's completely changed it. So I haven't done any Dragon Quest. So that's interesting to know. What I did find was, I'm opening up the game right now. Was after I basically just gave up on Randvik's Fast, because I was just not capable of doing it. I headed towards Markarth and discovered that in Requiem, whereas sorry, I'm turning down my audio here. Whereas the certain parts of the map in Skyrim, including places like Bleak Falls Barrow, are very difficult. He has completely, well, this isn't fair to say. I was going to say he's completely nerfed the Forsworn, but that's not really true. But they are much lower level. They're much easier to defeat in Requiem, which makes a certain amount of sense, right? They are sort of hill barbarians, as it were, and they're not well equipped. And if you go in there at level, I would think I was level 7 or 8 when I headed out there. It's actually doable. So I ran through the whole Forsworn conspiracy quest with Madnak and everything, and I tried to play it, as sort of as if I'd never played it before, as I possibly could. Normally you go through, you click, 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 run back and forth, grab the shiv, blah, blah, blah. But I tried to, play it through, and it was fun.
Yeah,
I haven't done that in a long, long time, and that's sort of the way I've been trying to approach it now in the Requiem playthrough, is just to try to really go back and think as if I'd never played the game before. So once I came out of that, there's a couple glitches, and I don't know if they're related to Requiem or the game or a little bit of both. I had to reload the final exit when you follow Madnock out a couple times, because some weird shit happened. I don't know. It's like everybody got screwed up, and everybody ended up inside the Dwarven Ruin, which is weird, and then including Torald and everybody else. And then everybody left, and the door closed, and I was locked in the second time. I'm going, help! Hey, wait for me!
Hello.
Yeah. So finally, I reloaded it a couple times, and it triggered correctly. But once I was done with that, I moved on out into the Reach, and kind of wreaked havoc. I had a really good time, and I'm going solo. And the reason I asked about followers was, so Lydia has been okay, or did you change the settings in Requiem at all for followers?
No, not at all. Yeah, she gets her ass handed to her pretty regularly.
But she doesn't die. See, that's what I'm having problems with. Every follower I've tried to get just dies. They just get killed.
Well, she does die if I hit her. Because most of my killing is done with my unrelenting force shout, and I still only have the first word, because as she's going through enemies, she can probably take 2 at the same time if they're just normal bandits. She's tough enough to be able to withstand that.
Mm-hmm.
But if she's surrounded by 3 of them, then she's definitely going to go down, and she'll go down to a knee. And then the same way I would is they ignore her and then come after me once she goes down to a knee. And if I use the foos, that will kill her if she goes down to a knee.
Okay, interesting. I wonder what is it? Maybe it's a setting that I have set or something, but I've lost. Well, I was losing. I forget who I had first. I tried Findall maybe, and he just. I mean, it was like we walked into somewhere, walked in, and he was dead. I mean, killed, dead, not on a knee, just dead. I don't know. It was the first hit, one hit shot, done. And I thought, okay, that's weird. So I went out and tried it again. Same thing, done. So I thought, okay, well, I don't want to. That's silly. So I just went back and forget Fandal. So I got somebody else, and we went to a halted stream. and ran in. First shot from the bandit chief, done, dead. So this sucks, man. So then I went and got Uthgerd, and she does what you were describing. So maybe it depends on the follower.
Yeah, well, maybe it depends on on the armor. Can it withstand the entire hit?
That could be. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so further on along down the line, after I came back from doing. Oh, I was going to say I had a really good time at is it the Deepwood Redoubt? Is that the one where you you go into a sort of a short little dungeon and then you come out into this valley? It's a great one. I love that place.
I have spent hours trying to take that place.
It's wonderful though, and so I went in there solo, and I'm doing mostly archery like I often do, and working it right. I think I went through maybe died once through that whole thing. I didn't try. Once I got up to the Hag's End or whatever the upper level of it is, where the Hag Ravens are, then because he did not nerf the Hag Ravens, so that's one shot done. And I thought, okay, I'm done. I'm leaving. I killed my Forsworn. I got my Briar Hearts and whatever. But then I went and did the Vermina quest. And because I like Erendur, or is it Erendur? Is that his name?
Yeah, it's Erendur or Erendur.
Yeah, he's a great follower. So I thought, okay, I'll grab Erendur and we'll do Vermina. And that was tough in Requiem. Went through that. Brought him home. Took him to Halted Stream. Dead. Like, what the fuck, man? So, and that's where I said, okay, this was fun for a while, and I'm moving on to something else. That's when I went to Perma. So.
Oh, crap. The only thing I can think is, was it, what's her name? Lydia just goes down to a knee. Not maybe you're getting in conflict, or maybe it's just. I mean, did you give Erendur some armor, or was he just in his clothes?
No, I did a foolish thing. I forget where it was. Let me. Oh yeah. Okay. So, doing the Vermina quest. Where of course he's totally essential and can't be killed. Went through, but I think it's Requiem that did this. I don't see that. I was pretty careful not to add too much in terms of combat overhaul stuff. I wanted it to be a fairly consistent Requiem build. All of the orcs in there are wearing orc armor.
Ah, right.
Yeah, so they're kind of tough. So we went in, and I had I forget what my character has for weapons right now. But anyway, all the orcs are wearing orc armor. They were surprisingly not as hard as all the leftover priests of Vermina, who are all shock mages, and those are like one shots. Boom. So you got to be, you got to hide and I'm trying to do with this guy. I'm trying to, even though I'm using some archery, I'm trying to build up my one-handed and sword and shield. So I found if I could stagger them quickly with one shot with a bow and then like run up right in their face and bash them and shield bash them, that would stagger them enough that they couldn't, shoot their awful shock spells at me and I could take them down. But they were pretty tough.
What race are you?
What am I? Hang on a second. I forget. His name is Kalis Gorham. I forget what he is. I haven't played him in a few days. But he's where am I here? He's wearing what did I make him? I don't remember. I'm standing out in the middle of the tundra with Erendur and Uthgerd right now. What follower mod are you using?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
So
one at a time.
Yeah, vanilla Skyrim. So.
Oh, cool. So we're really sort of a quote pure unquote Requiem build.
Pretty much. The only thing I've got is was it the Amidian-born caves and mines and his armors.
Okay. Kalis is a red guard. I forgot. That's right. Yeah. So what are the I don't think I used. I didn't use any. Oh, I used Imperious. We can talk about that at some point too. Imperious is pretty cool. But I didn't use any other changes in race or anything like that. It's all pretty much all Requiem. I don't remember what Requiem adds to Red Guard.
I'm not sure, was it because my guy is a Breton. He gets that he absorbs 100% of the magicka for 8 seconds. So if anybody's shooting at him with lots of magic, if it gets into a serious fight, like, magic match, he can absorb 100% of that damage for 8 seconds.
Nice. I'd have to go look at the website and see.
Yeah, plus the Mage Stone is different. Instead of learning stuff faster, it gave me an extra, I want to say, 100 magicka.
Oh, okay.
So I think the Warrior Stone gives you extra stamina or something like that, or extra health. I'm not too sure. But the Mage Stone, gave me loads of magicka, and I was going with mainly Conjuration, and I'm finding it a lot better this time around than the first time around.
Yeah, it's. Have you read through the player handbook, despite its horrible interface? Well, it's a PDF, but they thought, wow, background images are really cool, man. So it's really hard to read. And they did it in a really sort of a scripty font, which is also, I'm a big, well, I won't get snobbish about fonts, but anyway, so let me look through this and quick and see if I can find attributes here.
My Breton is still 25% resistant to magic. I think that was it. Something else I was going to say. What's it about the stones? No.
Yeah, it's really deep. I mean, my God, it's the PDF for the manual is 141 pages. They've really done a great job with it, I have to say. But for me, it's, as usual, it's like, Victor doesn't spend a lot of time, reading the fucking manual. So
I didn't even look for the manual.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a stray dog? Oh my God, I just found myself the stray dog.
Cool. So where do you find out in there what your racial, characteristics are? Is that right?
His powers. So you go to powers, and then you go to active effects.
Oh, duh, of course. Yeah. All right.
So, magic resistance. Your Breton Blood gives all token damage from all damage taken from magical sources. So it doesn't actually give me an exact amount of what it is.
Let's see. So the Warrior Stone, he's taken the Warrior Stone, so that's.
It used to be some poison and disease resistance for the vanilla one for Red Guards, I think.
And where is it? It's under active effects. Let's see. Fortify Ice by increase nomadic heritage. Red Guard blood grants 50% disease resistance. Yeah, when not in combat. You have unlimited stamina.
Whoa!
When not in combat.
Even so.
Yeah. That's why I can run so far. I just didn't realize that. And then Red Guard blood tempered in the deserts of Hammerfell grants you a very strong resistance to poisons and diseases. That's that does seem to work. I'm not sure what the tenacity effect is from. Varied diet, that's another Requiem thing. Is that part of yours? If you eat, more than one or two different things, instead of just eating all bread or whatever, you get a 10% or 10-point increase in health, which is kind of cool.
No, I've been eating a few different things, but mainly was it vegetable stew?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like a lot of those. Yeah, what they last like 7,200 seconds or something like that. There's a lot of nice long-term effects, but you have to I guess similar sort of to The Witcher and other games like that. You have to consume them outside of combat. You have to prepare yourself before you go into combat in order for the effects to take effect. And I have, let's see, I've also I sort of, because of his militant, carrying capacity nerfs. I have mods that allow me to craft backpacks and bandoliers and stuff like that, so I can carry more. I tried to sort of semi-faithful to it, and so I didn't really add too much to his weight. I think he can carry like 180 pounds or stone or whatever now, whereas with a regular Skyrim playthrough, you might be like carrying 500 pounds worth or something.
I'm still on the whatever he said, so my carry weight is still 90.
There's a setting in there, because I think when sort of out of the box, Requiem doesn't add anything when you gain stamina, does it?
Nothing.
You can tell it to. But
I've been adding it, but there's a perk in heavy armor, which I think this one is at 50.
Okay.
Heavy armor, which increases carry weight. Yeah, fortitude. Your training made you stronger. Are you now less burdened by the rigidity of your armor? You also receive some additional stamina and carry weight.
Okay.
I don't like the way he says some additional, which probably means 3.
Not a hell of a lot. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because was it in the conjuration tree? Because I've got up to 28 up there, and I took all my perks nearly went into that. And there was one that was Summoner's Insight, which was you've learned how to empower conjuration spells. Thus, you can now make them last longer in this realm. When I cast a spell, I think I've got the Ghostly Wolf. That one would last 14 seconds. I took this perk, and it lasted 15 seconds.
Oh.
I was like, wow. What? Thanks, dude. I'm going to kick you right in the nuts if ever meet. So then I took the one right next to it, which was Extended Binding, and that increased it to 22 seconds.
Okay. Yeah.
So none of this 60-second malarkey for me. It's 14 seconds and 22 seconds of conjurated beings.
I've got my speech up a fair amount. I tried to work on that a lot because it helps, because it's hard to make money in Requiem too. So I took haggling, and the other one, Silver Tongue. You spent quite some time to improve your rhetoric skill and are now able to greatly influence any conversation and to fascinate the opposite gender. Thus, you also get better offers at respective vendors, which seems to work.
My speech has been going up, but I haven't been putting anything into it.
Smithing is hard. In fact, it's virtually impossible. I haven't been able to. I don't know if I missed the book somewhere. Yeah, I guess you have to have a book in your inventory in order to even take a point in it.
Yes, I can tell you where the book is.
Well, there was one in Embershard Mine I heard, or I read somewhere, but I don't know if I missed it or have it or misplaced it or somewhere or something. I don't know.
The one in Embershard was for scaled armors. You need the one for basic crafting.
Oh, where's that?
Helgen.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
Of course. Where else? Yeah, it makes sense.
You know the barrel where you get the potions from?
Okay. Yeah.
there's a little set of stairs just after that go up to the shelf above.
Uh-huh.
If you look above on the top shelf up there, that's where the crafting book is. And you need to have that in your inventory to take the very first perk in smithing.
Okay.
Because I had the book, I read the book, and I threw it in my barrel. Because until recently, I was living out of a barrel.
Yeah, awesome.
I had Lydia as my house call, and she was like, "All right, let's go." And we run all the way, and I went, "Here you go. This is River. This is my barrel."
You're a barrel, Carl.
There you go. There's an ancient Nord sword that I got from Bleak Falls Barrow with some frost enchantment here. You carry that, kill stuff with it, and she does, which is awesome. And then we bought Breeze home, which
nice.
for some reason was only £3,000.
Okay. Whereas if you want to hire a mercenary like Janasa or something, it's 5,000.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And like most spells that are worth a damn are 2,500 gold.
Yeah, I know. That's really kind of tough.
Yeah, and plus gold weighs. So yeah, Lydia's got all my money. She carries all my money on her while we're out and about. When we get back, I put it in the one of the nightstands by the bed.
Uh-huh.
But while we're out and about, because it weighs, she carries all my money. So if she just decides, right, well, I'm going to go out on a bender, she can just go out and get drunk off her ass on all the gold. Leave me penniless.
That's why I got a horse, because I was feeling kind of guilty about, my bandoliers and backpack and stuff like that. So I figure a horse is a good tank too. But I just went back to my little house. I love this. There's a wonderful little house mod by the well-known Eleonora, who's done so many awesome house mods. But this one's called Lillehus, Little House, and it is exactly that. It is a tiny, tiny little house right on the edge of right outside Whiterun, and it's like cramped for one person right now. Uthgerd and Arander and I are in here. We're bumping into each other, but I just came back here to look for that book, and I don't have it. So either I never got it in Helgen, or because I do have the Scaled Armors book. Or I put it somewhere and I have no recollection of where it is. So hopefully there's another copy of it somewhere, or I'll have to console it to myself.
Yeah, sometimes they're in the Smiths have them. So if you go to Alvor,
it probably costs 5,000 or something like that. Yeah, hopefully not.
I think you can buy it from one of them. I'm not too sure how much it is, but
yeah. Well, so yeah, so I just coming back here. I remembered that I also attempted. I don't think is it Ustengrav or one of those over there where there's a woman named Anska.
A scroll for Anska. Yeah, you don't want to go in there.
Yeah, well, I tried. That didn't work so well. But now poor Anska, because I initiated the quest. I thought, okay, I'm leaving. This is too hard for me, and I left. That's when I headed over towards Dawnstar to do the Vermina quest. But when I left and I looked behind me, and there she was, sort of followed me out of the ruin, and then she turned around and went back in. But now every time I fast travel, poor thing appears wherever I am, and then starts walking back to wherever it was. So now she's like walking back from Whiterun. I feel bad. But
why are you laughing, Victor?
She'll get there eventually. It's just like, I'm afraid the next time so I'll have to just fast travel, pick her up, fast travel back there, and she'll appear whenever I do want to do that. I'm level 15 now in my Requiem playthrough, but I reached another sort of roadblock. I thought, okay, I've got all this experience. I did all these Forsworn quests and everything. I did the Vermina quest. I'll go back and to Ransvik fast or whatever and try to advance the companions. No, still not good. So it's too much magic for me.
I thought they were all ghosts.
No, there's necromancers in there. There's a whole mess of, I think they're necromancers. Some kind of sorcerer. Let me pop over there and see what's in there. Randvik's Fast, yeah. Yeah, so anyway, I stopped and I decided, okay, I'm going to do a really, again, the same kind of thing where I'm trying to play it as if I had never played it before, but this time with a really pure hunter and thief build in perma. So I'm sort of getting much more deeply into using Frostfall and Hunterborn, getting far more deep into Hunterborn than I ever have before. Really sort of trying to work up the skills for processing animal kills and stuff like that, and it's a lot of fun. And in that one, I'm using he's a wood elf by the name of Benjamin Finnegan. He's got red hair, so and looks scarily like Kiefer Sutherland. Somehow I managed to make him look like Kiefer Sutherland. I don't know how, but that's a lot of fun too. I'm using Imperius, which adds some racial characteristics. And one of the things it does for wood elves, several things. So when you go into sneak mode and stand still for a short amount of time, it starts to make nearby enemies glow, even if you can see them sort of through forest cover and stone and stuff like that. It gives you the once a day you will cannibalize a corpse, because of course you're a wood elf and they do that, and that gives you benefits to fortitude and endurance, which has added some of those sort of classic RPG elements into the game. And it also adds this little sort of questy thing in there. I forget what it's called because I'm not in that game right now, but where if you kill 10, well, it adds this harrier bird. At first I started playing the game and I keep hearing this bird call, and a little text pops up at the top of the screen that says, "You hear the call of a bird." I'm thinking, what the fuck is that? And so finally I read the manual, and it's the signal that the harrier has marked a piece of prey, and if you hunt the prey and kill it within a certain amount of time, it's usually marked as a green glow rather than a white glow. It counts towards your 10 kills, and once you have killed 10 under that, you get, let's see, it's right here if I can find it, the Bosmer. It's the Harrier Spirit Bird marks animals to kill for bonus loot or weakens your enemies in battle, and the quest reward for that is Beast Tongue. Once a day, call to a nearby predator, making it a permanent ally until released. So that's going to be cool. I'm only up to 4 right now, so I haven't tried that yet. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's called Imperius. All kinds of interesting little things that they added to.
Have you gone through the because in the perma playthrough, or is it the what's that tree that he added? The Wayfinder?
I don't know. Oh, I mean the perk tree. Yeah, it's Wayfarer. Yes, I've worked into that because that really works into both Frostfall and Hunterborn quite a lot. And what he did was he put lockpicking and pickpocket together, so he had space for another tree, and added the Wayfarer tree. It's the same thing. It actually came through from Skyrim.
Yep.
And so yeah, I'm going to load that one up now and see.
Sometimes I think it's a little unfair with Wayfinder, especially with us two who never fast travel. So with Wayfinder, we're traveling anywhere, so we just like leveling it up constantly.
That's true. It does level fast.
Because I get up to like I am level 70 or something like that, and I can't remember what level my perma guy was. I think level 30 or something like that, I think.
Oh, well, no, Benjamin's still down in the teens somewhere, I think. But he's having fun. I mean, I discovered a little thing in Hunterborn where you can make cache markers. So if you're hunting out in the tundra or something and you pick up a lot of carcasses and things like that, you can create a cache out of bone, and when you drop it on the ground and squat next to it and activate it, it creates this little hunter's cache, and you can load crap in there so you don't have to carry it around all over the place. Sadly, it does not add a fast travel marker. So you got to remember where it is. But other than that, it's a nice little nice idea. That's pretty cool. I'm enjoying the permit. I don't mind the fluffy descriptions. You know, it's fun trying to figure out exactly what the hell he meant. But
yeah, I put in the defluffer.
Yeah.
But I forgot to put in the extended UI, so half of it's like cut off.
Oh, really? Oh, bummer. That's easy enough to add. But I was going to say, I added one thing yesterday. The perma build is running Vivid Weather, which I think I talked about in one other show that we did. I can't remember. But oh my, how did that happen? Oops. Sorry. I guess I forgot to say it because I'm back somewhere. Anyway, Vivid Weather is really good if you let it be itself. It's got some beautifully redone. The snowstorms are gorgeous. And he's added some new sky textures for sunsets and things, which are really pretty. But something I did yesterday, which has visually changed the game in an awesome way, especially in Falkreath and the southern part of Skyrim, is I added a mod called Simply Bigger Trees. And let me tell you what, I recommend it to anybody. It shouldn't affect your frame rate much at all, but it makes the trees 1.5 times larger. And walking around in the forests in Falkreath with those trees that big is really spectacular. It really is. The tree trunks are bigger. You really feel like you're in a real primeval forest. It's really cool. So try it out. It's not. I don't think it adds an ESP. It's meshes only, so you don't have to mess with your load orders or anything like that. So it's easy to add and subtract. So definitely worth trying. It's a little unrealistic in the Rift because birch trees don't really grow that tall. I know from experience, but that's okay. I'm willing to accept that. But it looks really good. I haven't been up north yet with it, but I traveled around Falkreath a lot, and it's really, really pretty. So let me look at what I've been concentrating mostly on archery. And I actually, did you use the Tendo's uncapper INI file? Because he recommends the uncapper as part of the Percus Maximus, and he provides an INI file for it. Did you use it?
I have the uncapper, but I don't think I used his one.
Okay.
Just used the normal. Because where do your trees go up to?
What do you mean?
When you're going for your perks, because I was having a look at it and I was checking online, and I thought I had it right, but maybe I've got it wrong. Like how high are your perks? Do you have to go beyond 100?
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far in anything yet.
No, I mean, can you go to your perk tree and see if any of the perks, like the mastery perks, are they beyond 100? Or because mine are all 95 or 100.
Yeah, I think they all. None of them go to 100. I think that's. Is that correct? I was just looking at the Wayfarer here. Let's see, dexterity, conviction is 95. Yeah, I don't know.
That's
yeah,
right.
why is that?
I'm not too sure, but I was worried because my two-handed in my perma build, he's up to level 114.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was wondering why is my skill going past 100, but obviously his perk requirements are not.
Well, that's what the uncapper does anyway. It just lets you
Yeah.
keep going without having to make it legendary. That's part of the whole point of the uncapper. But it also adds, it changes. If you've ever looked in the INI file, you can change everything, the way things level, the rate at which things level. It's very, very detailed. And his INI grants you, I think, 2 perks, 1 perk, 2 perk, or something like that. It's sort of rhythmic. You don't always get just one perk per level, which kind of makes sense with the amount of added points on the perk trees that he's put in there. You almost need more than one to,
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite with Rec Room, though, isn't
right,
it?
exactly. Yep.
Have you seen the dexterity tree?
Yeah, or block. Block is like what, 6 points on it or something like that. Yeah, or maybe it's heavy armor. I'm thinking of.
Where is it? Lock picking. Lock picking has 1, 2, 3, 4 perks. That's the entire tree.
Yeah.
4 perks.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is a
kinda cool.
pain. Yeah, which is a pain in the ass because I can't. I just done Full-Time Tower, and he's locked every single chest in the entire game. Every single door, every single chest is locked. So you have to be able to pick it. But if you don't have lock picking, like locksmithing lore, which is the second one, you can't do anything adept or above.
Right.
And that requires level 50. I'm only currently level 18. So all the master chests that you come along to, unless it's in a dungeon where it's like a load of dead guys, then it's left open. But I've done Full-Time Tower, and that one is locked, and I can't get into it.
That's evil, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I turned that off in the Requiem MCM. I'm ashamed to say I turned it off, so I can do the regular thing. You can sort of try to pick almost any lock, even though you might go through 10 or 15 lock picks. So I cheated. But alchemy is cool in perma, though. You gain the ability. I mean, I've taken 2 of the 3 first alchemist perks and nothing else above that. But it already allows me to learn the first 3 of any, the first 3 attributes of any ingredient, which is kind of cool. You don't have to take a special, perk out of the tree in order to get that. You just have to level it up. So I'm having fun with that. So it's actually a good build. I'm having a little trouble with the actual game itself. I was having some issues with script hitching and crap like that. And I discovered a really cool little utility for anybody who has experienced the dreaded purple textures. Have you ever had those in your games?
Yes, sir.
And trying to figure out where the hell what overwrote what and blah blah blah. Well, there's a really cool little mod called I think it's MFG console. I don't know what MFG stands for. It doesn't matter. But you load that into your game. It doesn't require any special load order or anything. It does a couple other things too. It adds blinking back into the game, but you can turn that off because that's stupid. But it is, it's really dumb. So your character blinks. I mean, come on, there's immersion and then there's just like dumb immersion. So you walk up to this purple texture and you go into the console and you click on the texture to get the object ID, and in the console, the MFG console mod pops up this little information window off to the right, which tells you exactly the last mod to try to use that texture or the whatever, and so it tells you exactly where to go to find what happened and so you can either reload the mod or reload the order or something, or find if as in my case, it was a mod that I had missed when I downloaded the mod, which is a mountain, sort of a photoreal mountain background mod, which is kind of nice. I missed a file that he had added lower down. It was so you had to scroll down the screen, which was, oops, I forgot a texture. And so I went back to the mod page, and I was scrolling around and looking around, and finally I found, oh, okay, cool. But I knew exactly where to go because this little MFG console had told me which mod it was that was the culprit, which is really cool. I thought it was really nice. So it's worth having in your sort of modding arsenal. You don't even have to load it into the game all the time. You can just load it up, figure out what you need to figure out, and then dump it. So
yeah, the last time I got that, I instead of trying to find it, I found a different mod that mods this, like it was armors and stuff like that. So I found a different mod that changes armors and then overwrote and added that and overwrote whatever the hell was causing the the texture thing. So
yeah, that works.
A brand new one over the top of that. So the problem was still in there. I just kind of sort of like, whitewashed over the top of it.
I think the most common one that people experience is the Skyforge steel. I think it's Skyforge. It's the Iridium-born content add-on mod and that's the most common one. And you either take that out or reload it or whatever, or find something else that loads a different one, and it works fine. This happened to be a rock texture that was only in the reach, so it was kind of weird, and so it was hard to figure out what it was. So it was nice to find this little utility, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I just having a look at my perma guy now. He's actually, I was way off. He's like level 44 now.
Wow.
Don't you find that it goes kind of odd? Because when I first started off, I was really struggling for perks. Then I ended up with like a shit ton of perks and nothing to invest it in. And then I went through a dry spell where I had to wait until I leveled up, got a perk, spent it, and then I was still begging for other perks to spend on something else. And now again at level 44, I've got 3 perks and nothing to spend it on.
Huh. So yeah, that is a little. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to. There's nothing requiring you to spend perks. So I guess
it's just was it in the perma conjuration tree? You've got this one where it says deportee. Activate a summoned dangerer to get reclaim option. Choosing this option will banish the entity and restore some of your magicka.
Okay, before you go. Oh, are you still reading it? Keep reading that, because I'm going to read the fluffed version after you're finished. I just want you to. Go ahead.
The amount of magicka depends on the type of creature you sent back. Flame Atronach 30, Frost Atronach 50, Storm Atronach 70, and Dremora 90.
Okay, here's the fluffed version. It's time on Nirn finished for now. You carefully untangle the web of magic that called your Daedra servant to your side, recovering useful magical energy. That's it.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Oh, God. Yeah.
That just seemed like an entire waste of a perk to me. But beyond that one, so beyond deportee, which I don't get because I'm not going to reclaim my my summoned creature. Because if I do reclaim it, that means the fight's over. If the fight's over, then I'm out of combat. If I'm out of combat, then my magical regeneration shoots up like unbelievably. So I won't need to reclaim magicka because it's going to be, replenished within a few seconds anyway. But the one after that, again, just seems particularly ridiculous. Daedric Shell. After choosing Reclaim, you grants a buff depending on the creature you had sent back. So if I summoned a Flame Atronach for a fight, if I reclaim it, it gives me 30% fire resistance, for 20 seconds.
And that's a single level perk too, so it's always going to be that, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the stuff just, to me, just doesn't make sense. I mean, these studies, alteration is really good. Studies adept conjuration, which will give me a spell, and it's given me some extra bonuses. But then after that, level 50, I can go to ancient rites, and then I can summon an extra summon.
Have you taken any of the, what does he call them? I don't know. It's studies in magical tree, it's prodigy in the thief tree, and it's something in the warrior tree. Have you taken any of those? Those perks?
The only mastery perk
thank you, yeah,
is in the smithing. I can make war forged.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about that last time. Yeah. And where is the mastery? Oh, that's way up there. In smithing, it's way up at the top, isn't it?
Yeah, but it only required level 45.
Oh, okay. That's funny. I guess I never looked far enough to see. I did notice that on something else I was looking at. There was one of the top perks was only level 65. So I guess you really, really have to study these trees. Maybe that's part of the thing. I mean, there's so many different perks. It's sort of an embarrassment of riches. So if you don't like one, there's always another one to take, I guess. So yeah, I see the warrior masteries are all at the top of the tree, and like in the thief realm, the prodigy perks are way down at the bottom, which is kind of cool.
The way I'm figuring it is that he's put the mastery perk in smithing is down to at level 45. It's so that you can actually use it. There's no point in having it at like the number 100 before I can get Warforged.
Right.
Because by the time I'll get to 100, I won't bloody need it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm sure that's exactly why he did it. It's certainly well thought out. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess what happens to me especially in perma, and this is like the second time I've done a moderate playthrough with it, is I just get confused by all that detail. So I just pick perks that are simple. Oh yes, black and white. Do this, it does that. Done. So I end up with leftovers too. But I'm sort of interested in it's sort of, I guess it's a good thing that you can only take one of those mastery perks per school or whatever you want to call it. But it'd be fun to try them all.
Yeah. You see, and that's where he got interesting. Have you seen the alteration tree?
Oh no, I'm doing the Benjamin is doing illusion for his magic, pretty much. That's all. And I don't think he's going to do. Oh, and a little bit of restoration because he likes to heal himself that way. But no, I have not looked at alteration at all.
Well, go to alteration and go to the very very top. The requires 100. Let's see what it says. See what your fluffed version tells you.
Oh, well, you want to read the unfluffed version first?
Okay. Something draws you, pulls at you. You feel as if this loose thread might help you unravel even greater magical secrets. AKA does nothing, but the next rank does +1 focus perk.
Okay. See, that's exactly what the fluffed version says. So that's interesting. So the next rank is you get. So is that what they're called? Focus. Okay. So then you can take a focus perk anywhere in any of the trees.
Yeah. No. It looks like because you got a focus one. You got the studies master alteration, but in the alteration tree you have the focus, which is the creator one, which grants the spell prism. So you can. You can create a universal device that manipulates and amplifies any spell cast in it. So what you do is you throw something on the floor, this prism thing, and then you throw a spell at it, and then that increases the spell's power, and then sort of fucks it out at everything in the area.
Wow.
But if you take this Architect of Magic perk, you can also take the other focus spell, so you can get 2 focus spells.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And it's all these kinetic shift ones and things like that. So
yeah, I see.
it's like you can only take one of these unless you go this way and take that and spend this here. Then you can actually take 2 and cheat because.
It's pretty complex, isn't it? There's a lot of stuff in that tree. I guess especially for the magic, I guess the deflect version is probably the way to go.
The only one what really annoys me is I cannot, for the life of me, find magic resistance. There is no magic resistance epoxy thing where it's like 3 ranks, sort of 10% magic resistance, 20% magic resistance, and 30%. There's none of that anywhere. I can't bloody find that perk.
You'd have to use alchemy then.
Yeah, but was it? I was thinking about alchemy because it does look very interesting, but
yeah. So far, I mean, I'm doing a lot of alchemy. I think he's level 50 alchemist right now, but I've only taken the first 2 levels of the base alchemist perk. I haven't gone up the tree at all. So, because I'm sort of trying to figure out which of the thief section, prodigy perks I'm going to take, and I haven't been able to decide yet. So whether I'm going to do sneak or alchemy. The sneak one is called infiltrator. Let those guild rats hide in the sewers. You've got a few sneaky tricks of your own, and the shadows already call you a friend. I don't really know what I guess they just let you level faster in whichever tree you choose to take the prodigy perk in. I guess that's what it is. And since I'm already level 50 in alchemy, it doesn't seem worth taking the prodigy perk there. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, it just instantly grants greed and unarmed. That's what it is in dexterity. So if you take the prodigy perk, that means that the other 2 perks, greed and unarmed, it grants them immediately.
Oh, okay, I get it now. All right, so you'd have to be careful. In other words, if you're going along playing the game through and you take a bunch of perks in a given tree and then go back and take the prodigy perk there, you might have just wasted a perk.
Yeah.
So you got to take that early. All right. I guess that makes more sense then.
Because the unarmed requires 55 and greed requires 50. But if you take the prodigy one, that means you can do them early.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'd just like to say in smithing, I've gotten up to ebony, and it's quite nice.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do much. I just took the first. Smithing's another one. It's in perma. It's a little harder to. I partially because I used the sort of the big race, not just Imperious, but I also used Disparity, which is a big sort of RPG focused, race overhaul, and it allows you, in a sort of a similar way to the special book or whatever in Fallout, where you have a set number of points that you can assign to things, and everything else kind of falls off the edge of the map. So you get a lot of, with Disparity, you start out at 5 in a lot of trees, but you can also start out at 10, 15, or 20 in some. So it's kind of rebalances this thing that way. And there's patches for all of these, by the way. They're all integrated into perma, and they're all patched to work together. But you have to build the load order with a bashed patch, and with the patches maximus at the end to get it to all work together right. By the way, I'm also using something called As Is. Have you seen that? It's added spells, increased spawns, I think is what it stands for, ASIS. It's a Skyproc patcher. Adds all kinds of interesting things. Like, I forget where I was. Oh yeah, Honeystrand Cave, right outside of Iverstad there. So there's a little quest.
Bears.
Yeah. There's a little quest that's added by interesting NPCs. You meet an Argonian in Falkreath. Have you done that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've tried.
Okay, so yeah, so you put, and I don't know if this is as is or not, but so you get to Iverstedt and you have to find the courier who's carrying the letter that this guy wrote, and she's in Honeystrand Cave. So I go waltzing into Honeystrand Cave, and there were like, and this is I also have immersive creatures loaded. I think that's part of it. So there were like 8 feral bears and about 15 bear cubs in there. It's like unbelievable. I thought, holy. So I had to dash in and out several times. I used a lot of fury in there because the bears are pretty low level. So even though they're powerful, so they're susceptible to fury. So they were eating each other up left and right. But yeah, I think that was as is that added all those bears in there.
That's an absolute nightmare. I hate bears.
Yeah, me too. They're tough. But and the same
not so
thing.
tough in Requiem, though.
Oh, they're not?
No, I was running away from them. But Lydia had no problems at all taking care of a saber cat or a bear.
Oh, I'll have to remember that.
Went down in about 4 or 5 hits, and they're full of stamina. You get all their claws and their heart and their I can't remember. There's something else as well that you can pull off the bears and say, the saber cat eyes and the teeth.
Yeah,
it's all stamina because you can pull all that off, and it's all alchemical ingredients.
Is that's added by Requiem? Because that's also added by mods like Hunterborn, claws, eyes, hearts, sometimes kidneys and stuff like that. And yeah, they all have really nice alchemical attributes. There's again, I don't know if it's which mod added it. Maybe Perma. There's a potion. It's not Alchemy Redone because I've never seen it before, and that's the only alchemy mod I'm using. It's called Arcane Detachment, which is a really good potion against any kind of sorcerer because it basically just shuts off their ability to use magicka for several seconds, and then takes away magic points. So you've seen that before? Is that a perma thing?
Yeah, it's perma.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been making, and it's also a very expensive potion, so you can level up your alchemy quickly with it. But yeah, I think bear claws are one of the ingredients for that potion. That's what made me think of it. Well, cool. So back and forth. Are you going to go back to perma at all, or are you pretty much done with that guy?
Well, no, I think, and I just opened it back up there to have a look at it, and I realized that I am in the middle of the Helgen Reborn quest.
Oh, cool. That's a great quest. I love that. I left that one out.
Yeah. Have you ever been to, while you've done Helgen Reborn, have you ever been to see Froki? Yeah,
I do Froki regularly. I love the kinds whatever it's called. In fact, I just initiated that with this guy. What's it called? Kinds. J for journal. Kinds Sacred Trials, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
And he's Helgen Reborn adds a little bit to that, doesn't it?
That's what I was thinking because his voice has changed.
Oh, I never noticed that. I didn't make that connection. Okay.
Yeah, his voice had changed. So I was going, what the hell is going on? And then as I was coming back, because I'm about to do the last one. I'm about to go and do the troll. I've currently got Lydia with me, Aranea, and I've got Herd from Helgen Reborn.
Oh, okay.
No, my son's the little Nord.
Yeah.
About 4 foot nothing. And he's got an ebony longbow on him, and it's almost bigger than he is.
Yeah.
He's got it strapped to his back, and I think it comes a foot above his head, and it's only like 3 inches off the floor. So
drags on the ground. That's great.
But was it you've got that? Was it fan service girl as well with Helgen Reborn? What was her name? It
starts with an O, maybe.
I can't remember what her name was.
It's a, yeah.
She's a young Breton girl or something like that.
Yeah, she's very pretty. And
Yeah.
she's marriable. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, I was really impressed with what you did when you went in to get coursed from the." I was like, "Yeah, whatever, little girl. Come on, Lydia, there." And we just like ran off, and I was like, "Look, that's what a woman is supposed to be. You go back to school, you little
Was she
bitch."
staring after you wistfully?
I don't know, but I wasn't interested whatsoever. She had this really high pitched. Oh, I was really good. Yeah, whatever. Come on, women.
My favorite of that type, and she's definitely not a wilting flower, is Tikrid out of the I keep wanting to call it inconsequential NPCs. Yeah,
Interesting
NPCs. Yeah, she's pretty awesome. She's the one who has her sister is the mine foreman in Dawnstar.
That was on one of my really early first modded games, and I picked her up, and I think it only lasted another couple of weeks, and then I sort of I think I moved on. I think we started a new round table, and I got it back as a playthrough.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Tikrid's pretty cool. She's a good follower. Yeah, well,
I think we can call that an episode.
I think so. Yeah, it was good. Good talk. We should revisit. I'm going to keep playing both of these and see how they parallel each other. I got to figure out how to get this companion quest moving without getting killed constantly. So I'll figure something else out.
Maybe what we could do is trade. I'll give you all of my Britain's magic resistance if you give me all your Red Guard's stamina.
Done. It's a deal. I'll email it to you.
Thank you very much. I just put it on an email or on a USB or something like that.
Yeah, here's all my stamina. Yep. Sounds good. All right, hang on a second. I'm going to get back to the hangout here. So, well, I guess that is. It's good. Thanks to everybody for listening.
Thank you very much. And if you have any mods that you really love and you want us to talk about or want us to stick in one of our playthroughs, let us know. We'll
or stick somewhere else. Yeah.
Just shut up for once.
Yeah, shut up about the frickin' mods. Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.
Later, guys.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Skyrim Addict. You can find all of our contact information, YouTube channel information, as well as other shows over at asapodcasting.com, including our newest show, The Fallout Feed. Special thanks to Claire Lafar for the show's artwork. You can find her stuff at etsy.com/MayaFirePrints, MayaFirePrints. And a thank you to Dan Bull for the use of his music in the Roundtable Open and Close. You can find him on YouTube or iTunes. Just search Dan Bull. Once again, thanks for listening, and later, everyone.